and nourish the land. They carry the spirit of a goddess. Local legend tells of a powerful deity who transformed herself into this river, leaving behind as sacred children the fishes that swim within. To harm them is taboo. To eat them unthinkable. According to the people, no matter how long this fish boils, it will never soften. And anyone who dares to defile the sacred order by catching or cooking a fish from Omieri will face the wrath of the goddess herself.
Ẹja yẹn ló jẹ́ important jù fún apẹja etírin kó o ṣe kò ní jiná wọn kì í pa gan bẹ́ẹ̀ gbọ́ mi sà wọn kì í pa ẹnìkan dán oníjọ́ kínní àná.
Kówé sùn ká yìí ṣe.
Kówé kò sí nǹkan tó ní ẹja yẹn máa ṣe pé tóun bá mú lọ léwọn á sè é ó ṣe ẹja yẹn títí tí ẹja yẹn ò jiná péjọ. Ejò wà láwárí. Ohun tí wọ́n pèsè di lẹ́jọ́ tó ọkọjà ẹni.
Kí làwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tó wá gbé lẹ́yìn yẹn?
Ó ṣètìtù ni.
Ètùtù rẹ̀ ló ètùtù ẹni ló ṣe bẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹsẹ̀ yá. Ẹ kú bó ti ṣètìtù.
Bó ti ṣètìtù rẹ̀ ó wà in life till now.
The Erin Ayonigba River is not only a site of mystery, but also of healing.
Only dókítà rẹ̀ agidi. Agbọ́mọ yìí dókítà ló gbé kàí ló bímọ. Lọ́ba iṣẹ́. Òun la alágbo ìwòyá wo mọ. Torí kó bá ti lóyún sínú, ẹbẹ̀ láti ẹ̀gbàgbọ́ títí fún mọ́kà mú ebi.
The people believe that its waters cleanse the body and spirit. They drink from it, bathe in it, and use it in their daily lives, trusting the river spirit to protect their community from harm. Visitors often come to feed the sacred fish with bread, watching as they gather gracefully at the surface.
Táà ṣàdúrà táà ṣe pé à á gbàdúrà níjọ́ kan àwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe ẹni tó rọ́mọ bí wá sísàlẹ̀ lọ́run àwa gbàdúrà fún wa ọdún kejì ẹ̀ ọwọ́ agbọ́mọyẹ wá táà tún ṣàdúrà fún.
For the people of Erin, Omieri is more than just the water. It is life, healing, and the heartbeat of their faith. Data according to the United Nations World Food Programme says 30.6 million Nigerians face acute food insecurity. Experts blame on many factors which include the security challenges in the North and Middle Belt, post-harvest losses, poor storage facility, and a couple of other issues. Over the years, there have been efforts at boosting food production in Nigeria, taking advantage of its over 70 million hectares of land, multiple agroecological zones, and a climate favorable for year-round farming. There have been several other such interventions by governments at council, state, and federal levels, including the Produce for Lagos program and the 500 billion naira guarantee fund scheme by the Lagos state government. In September, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Yari, said the prices of food items have crashed across the country, but some Nigerians differ, saying they are yet to feel the ease.
Before, we said chicken for it before, but now we sell 5,000 naira.
This one, before I selling 300, now I selling 500 because only it don't cost. Down I selling, before I selling 3,500, now I selling 6,000. Everything don't cost.
About 2 months ago, we are buying the food. Like rice or back of rice is 70-something thousand naira, like 75, 78, 73. But now 60, 62, 50, 55 safe. So if I look, it's gone down now. Not to say like if you have increasing the price now.
2025 marks the 80th anniversary of the annual World Food Day, which is celebrated on October the 16th every year. This year with the theme, hand in hand for better food and a better future. The United Nations target building a peaceful, sustainable, and food-secure future where everyone has access to a healthy diet. To achieve this, experts suggest the way forward must be comprehensive, from tackling insecurity to investing in climate resilience farming to improving storage, irrigation, and transportation systems. That's in addition to strengthening farmers' cooperatives, access to finance and research. With the right investment, policies, and protection for its farmers, Nigeria may be on its way from food insecurity to food sovereignty. Because in a nation so richly blessed, no one should go hungry.
If you order Bolt, InDrive, or Uber and you see this man run for your life.
Immediately I entered this man's car, there was something hanging in front of his mirror. It looked so fetish and...
But this same man picked me up, May 3rd, and he did the same thing.
Chef Bolt, chef Uber, chef InDrive.
I'm getting scared because like, oh my God, what if he's the one? You guys, please be careful.
This is the man who goes around in Bolt, InDrive, and Uber, allegedly robbing women of their belongings, raping ladies in his ride, and pretending to offer safe transport while carrying knives, scissors, guns, and other weapons in his car.
This guy has pepper spray, he has gun, he has sharp weapons, whatever.
For months, young women have cried out, sharing stories of their painful encounters with this predator. They talk about how he allegedly threatens them, hurts them, and strips them not just of their possessions, but of their dignity.
And you are telling me I'm not with your phone. He's like, you want me to kill you here? Immediately he now brought out the knife. He was not holding the knife. He said he's going to stab me to death. Started diverting to another route. That do I have condom inside my bag? Look at what he was asking me. I said I don't have condom inside my bag. He now searched my bag. That he's going to send my body in parts. That he already has people that will buy my body.
Despite these cries and warnings, he is still on the road. He is still picking up unsuspecting women and still moving through Uber, Bolt, and InDrive like a hunter waiting for his next victim. And the most heartbreaking question remains: why is a man like this still allowed to drive? Why has no company taken firm action to protect the very people they promise safety to?
Uber are still allowing this man to drive after he has victimized a lot of girls. Every day they're going to complain about our riders. Every day.
So why would Uber and Bolt and InDrive allow a known criminal work with them?
Will you be employing a highway robber to be on the highway picking people?
Every day that passes without justice is another day of risk for countless women. What use is technology if it cannot protect the vulnerable? What good is business when it ignores the cries of the broken? To the companies, the question is simple. How many more women must be hurt before you act? How many more tears must fall before you listen?
Please, Nigerian police, come to our help. Like, the government should look into it. Police, they should look into it. And even close to like 8 or more were saying, oh, I've inside this man car before, or I'm a victim, or I almost got kidnapped. What? The worst part of this issue is that it has been reported to the police, but police did nothing about it.
To every reader, this is not just a story. This is a call to wake up, a call to demand safety, a call to make sure that no man, no matter how cunning, is allowed to use the will as a weapon against women again. Because as long as this man is allowed to drive, every woman on the road is in danger.
The government is not doing anything. Somebody should do something about this guy.
Every single day, Lagos generates over 13,000 metric tons of solid waste, more than many African countries produce in a week. But less than half of this waste is properly collected or disposed, while the rest piles up in streets, markets, and growing dump sites across the city, turning communities into ticking time bombs. From Ojota to Agege, Ayobo to Yanoba, and across Lagos, waste is piling up faster than it can be managed, threatening both the health of residents and the environment.
Very, very hard, like just to struggle for myself and for my kids too. So that life in this place is just for you to look for somewhere to just hide your head, just put your head.
And they face a lot of challenges here, this place, because like what I'm saying here, place they live, kind of work they do, where they cook and what they eat every day. It's going to affect them because many of them are here just for them to survive.
There is just one of two things that is come up is that they will have to sell something before they will see money here to eat. Either they sell plastic or a rubber or keg or nylon, so they'll need to sell it. They'll work hard to get the money here. But in this place, you see a lot of people, they are living here. It's not like they don't have the money to rent house, but the money is too hard for them to see. Even though if they see the money safe, they will have to buy something. If rain fall, you will see a lot of water before you are coming into this place.
But beyond residents, thousands of people depend on these dump sites for survival, selling foods and scavenging recyclables in risky and unhealthy conditions just to make a living. The question remains, how is the government tackling this challenge, and what is the plan for communities like Ojota, where the health of thousands is at stake?
We have monitoring and compliance officers who go around to enforce environmental laws. So since last year, we've arrested and prosecuted close to 200 offenders for littering, for dumping bulk waste. And we've also sealed a lot of facilities, commercial facilities that have not been obeying the environmental laws. We need to reduce the amount of waste we're generating. We need to reuse as much of that waste as possible, and also to recycle as much as possible. And that's the gospel we've been taking throughout the state. We're currently running a 2-bin system in Lagos. We have 2 bins, a green bin for general waste and a blue bin for mixed recyclables. And we have 80,000 of those, which we're selling through our websites. The 2 legacy dump sites at Olusosun and Solus 3 in Igodo. Each dump site will be replaced by a transfer loading station. From these transfer loading stations, we'll transport waste to new material recovery facilities, one in Ikorodu and one in Badagry. And those 2 sites collectively will process about 4,000 tons of waste out of the 13,000 we generate daily.
With this sensitization, we hope that the market women actually comply with the rules of the Thursday sanitation. That's number 1, which is very essential. Number 2 is to keep their goods and the things they sell in the proper places they are meant to keep them. Trade in the proper places they are meant to trade. Don't trade on the walkway. Abide by the rules. Leave the amount of meters that's left to be on the road for cars and vehicles to, to move around. And not only that alone, it's also essential for our market women as well. Once they are done with the day's trade, they should clean and sweep, the place that they've carried out their trade, their stores and their shops, put it in a proper, nice waste bin, tie it up, and take it to where the lawnmower operatives are meant to carry out, their duties, and make sure the disposal is as neat and as clean as possible. Because that's where we buy our food, that's where we buy a lot of things to take to our houses. And if it's not properly kept and the hygiene is not well done, we run dangers and, risk of having food disease and, disease outbreak.
While government agencies continue to emphasize citizen responsibilities, residents insist that stronger intervention and real actions are urgently needed to prevent further environmental and health crises.
In addition, we have waste-to-energy projects planned for our Ekpe dump site, which has been closed. That's by the free trade zone. There's going to be a waste-to-energy plant there to be constructed by Harvest Waste, a Dutch company. And that waste-to-energy plant will take in about 2,500 tons of waste daily to generate 60 to 80 megawatts of electricity to power the future of Lagos. Loma has a partnership with Lamata to build a biogas plant that will take in organic waste, both solid and liquid organic waste, and generate biomethane to power the mass transit fleet of Lamata and the compactor trucks that we use for collection of waste statewide.
For us as a local government, it's something we've done with our legislative arm within us here at Agege local government, is to make sure that anyone caught disposing waste the wrong way is going to be fined 50,000 naira, and they would also sign an agreement that allows us to know that once they do the same thing again, is either they pay more fine, and also we also hand them over to the necessary authorities to carry out all other regulations on all other enforcement on them. For example, some people actually go to serve jail term, in regards to dropping refuse, illegally. That's one thing. And also environmental sanitation. People that don't sanitize, carry out sanitation in their houses, clean their drainages, will seal up their houses and ensure they pay a fine. After sensitization, which is the month of September, we are also going straight to inner street sweeping. We'll be bringing out people from the communities who will be appointed as street sweepers, and we'll pay them to make sure our inner streets are clean. We'll be making sure we carry along and the stakeholders around the ones that are nominated by the government to sweep the major highways, across local governments. Also, we are building an enforcement team, creating an enforcement team to manage people who have decided that they want to drop waste illegally. And not only that, we are also creating a drainage team that will be clearing all drainages across our local governments. We are also empowering and ensuring that we strengthen our own local security operatives to help us ensure that we catch people who are dropping waste illegally.
For now, Lagosians wait and hope that promises of cleaner, safer communities will move beyond talks and become a reality. Imisioluwa Afumisho, African News 24 TV.
Every morning, we wake up to breaking news that breaks something inside. Here are stories and reports we have for you at this time. President Bola TINUBU has ordered the immediate withdrawal of police officers attached to very important persons nationwide, directing that the personnel be reassigned to co-policing duties. The directive followed a security meeting held on Sunday in Abuja with heads of police, army, Air Force, and the Department of State Services. According to presidential spokesperson Bayo Ononuga, VIPs who still require protection will now obtain armed escorts from the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. The presidency said the decision is aimed at correcting years of uneven personnel deployment that has weakened police presence across rural and semi-urban areas. TINUBU expressed concerns over declining police visibility in many remote communities where stations reportedly operate with minimal manpower amid rising cases of banditry, kidnapping, and communal violence. To address the shortfall, the president approved the recruitment of 30,000 new police personnel alongside a planned upgrade of training facilities nationwide. The federal government will work with state governments to modernize police academics and improve officer training. The United States has agreed to step up its support for Nigeria's security operations through enhanced intelligence sharing and defense assistance. This is according to presidential officials in Abuja who explained that the partnership is aimed at strengthening Nigeria's response to terrorism, banditry, and other emerging threats. The government described the move as a timely boost to ongoing efforts to stabilize the country, stressing that President Bola Tinubu remains committed to rebuilding national security and welcomes every genuine international collaboration. Still on security, the founder of Living Faith Church Worldwide, Bishop David OYEDEPO, has declared a 7-day midnight prayer campaign in response to the rising wave of terrorist attack and violent crimes across Nigeria. He was speaking during the 4th Pre-Shiloh Encounter Service, where he described the current insecurity as both a spiritual and physical siege that requires urgent and collective intercession. He condemned the surge in banditry, kidnapping, and attacks on churches and communities, calling the incidents unacceptable and a direct assault on innocent lives. The cleric announced that the prayer chain would begin at exactly midnight, urging members of the church and Christians nationwide to join the exercise. OYEDEPO expressed deep concerns over recent killings and mass abduction, lamenting that kidnappers had turned human lives into big-time business through widespread ransom demands. He insisted that the crisis was driven by spiritual forces and must be confronted spiritually, stressing that the Church of Christ in Nigeria is indestructible. Former Abia State Governor ORJI KALU has accused unnamed political actors of sponsoring killings and kidnappings across the country to frustrate President Bola Tinubu's administration. Speaking with journalists in Abuja, KALU said the surge in targeted attacks, abductions, and coordinated assaults on communities shows signs of deliberate sabotage rather than ordinary criminal activities. According to him, some powerful individuals are playing politics with human lives just to create the impression that the current government is incapable of restoring security. According to KALU, quote, "These killings are political. Some people want Tinubu to fail, and they are using insecurity to push that narrative." End of quote. The United States has condemned the recent killings and kidnappings of students and teachers in Niger and KEBBI states. In a statement, the U.S. said the attack must not go unpunished and urged the Nigerian government to arrest those responsible. The U.S. also called for better security to protect schools and vulnerable communities, including Christians. Last week, gunmen kidnapped over 300 students and teachers from St. Mary's Catholic School in Niger State. Just days earlier, they also took about 24 schoolgirls in KEBBI State and killed the vice principal. About 50 students later escaped. The federal government claimed to have launched rescue operations, while the president, Bola Tinubu, has ordered the Minister of State for Defense to move to KEBBI and lead the effort. Nigeria is grappling with a new education crisis as a wave of abduction and violence attack that has prompted several state governments to shut down schools. The measures, authorities say, aim to protect students amid worsened security, but critics warn that prolonged school shutdown could derail learning for thousands of children already at risk. We have more in this report. The week just concluded came more with one report of attack in different parts of the northern part of Nigeria. In our next report, we'll review how the week went.
The week starting November the 16th started like any other, except for the backlog of anxiety that has built with the renewed attacks in different parts of the northern Nigeria. By the second day of the week, the fragile peace had scattered with a report of an attack by gunmen on Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School in Maga, KEBBI State. By the time the shooting and the operation of the agent of death settles, 25 girls have been abducted. Worse still, the vice principal who had stand to protect his students had been killed. The attack generated cry from across the country, but before the citizens could take in the story, another attack had happened. Gunmen invaded a church holding a service in Kwara State. That onslaught led to the death of 3 worshippers and 38 others abducted in spite of their efforts to hide from the predator. Days after, the kidnappers demanded 100 million naira on each of the 38 victims. Thankfully, they are all reported rescued now without paying ransom. On Wednesday, several soldiers were injured after terrorist ambush troops deployed to rescue kidnapped schoolgirls in KEBBI. The soldiers were attacked less than 24 hours after the Chief of Army Staff ordered an intensified round-the-clock operation to locate and free the abducted students. Thursday came with the news of the military bombardment of the terrorist hideout. The air component of operation, Nigerian Air Force, talked about the launch of decisive airstrike on Ara, a notorious terrorist hideout in Sabisa, Borno State, neutralizing many of the terrorists. Friday came with the news of another abduction in the school. Gunmen raided St. Mary's Catholic School in the early hours of the day, abducting over 300 students and 12 teachers. At least 50 of the kidnapped students from the Niger school abducted have reportedly escaped. Same for KEBBI, where 2 of the schoolgirls have reunited with their family. There are promises of military intervention by the government at both the federal and state level to ensure abducted victims are rescued. However, though free, none of the victims will remain the same after this experience.
Nigeria is grappling with a new security crisis as a wave of abduction and violence attack has prompted several state governments to shut down schools. The measures authorities say is aimed to protect students amid worsened security, but critics warn that prolonged shutdown could derail learning for thousands of children already at risk. We have more in this our next report.
On Friday, November the 21st, 2025, there was a news report of the federal government closing 41 unity schools over rising cases of students' abduction. The Federal Ministry of Education has, however, dismissed the report, but that announcement appears to have given some states an idea of how to handle security challenges they face. KEBBI took a leaf from that, declaring all public and private secondary schools across the state shut with immediate effect, following the recent attack of bandits where a principal was killed and 26 schoolgirls abducted from Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, Maga local government area. It was stated that the directive also affects all schools and state-owned tertiary institutions across all 21 local government areas, with the exception of the College of Nursing Sciences, Benin KEBBI. Days after the KEBBI incident, Niger State declared a shutdown of schools in certain parts of the state, reason they appeared livid that the St. Mary's School opened without getting clearance. With the attack of gunmen on St. Mary's School, who abducted 215 students and 12 teachers, the school as well as others in Agwara local government area went back to being shut to academic activities. The Bauchi state government also announced the immediate closure of all schools across the state, following heightened security concerns of recent abductions of secondary school students in KEBBI and Niger states. The decision affects primary, secondary and tertiary institutions, including federal government-owned and private schools operating within the state. Kwara was not left out as the state government directed the closure of schools across 4 local government areas amid escalating insecurity in the affected regions. Schools in Ifelodun, Irekpodun, Ishin and Ekiti local government areas of the state were shut following a bandit attack on a church in Erupu, Ekiti local government area, which left 3 worshippers dead and over 35 abducted. Katsina joins the list as the state government ordered the immediate closure of all public schools across the state following escalating security threats and banditry attacks reported in several communities. Reason that the decision is a precautionary measure following recent abductions of secondary school students in KEBBI and Niger states. Katsina shares a border with KEBBI State, where gunmen abducted 26 schoolgirls from Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, Maga, earlier. Also, the Plateau State Universal Basic Education Board ordered all basic schools across the state shut as a precautionary measure to safeguard pupils and reassure communities of the government's commitment to their safety. In contrast, however, some northern state governments do not seem to see that as a viable approach to tackling the challenge at hand. They prefer instead to adopt targeted security measures, including relocating boarding schools to safer areas and increasing patrols around vulnerable communities. Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Wadatao Madawaki, says that instead of shutting down schools, the Zamfara state government has introduced new security measures to protect learning centers and ensure pupils continue classes without fear of attacks. Sokoto is on the same page with Zamfara on this approach. The special advisor to Governor Ahmed Aliyu of Sokoto State on security matters, retired Colonel Ahmed Usman, criticized the recent wave of school closures across the northern region, warning that shutting down learning institutions does more harm than good. In the midst of this security crisis, education experts and humanitarian agencies are warning that repeated or prolonged school closures risk widening Nigeria's already large out-of-school population. They call on the government to introduce security measures to protect learning centers rather than total shutdown, or employ alternative learning arrangements such as temporary learning centers, radio lessons, and psychosocial support for affected children. While authorities stress that safety is the priority, the uneven responses across the states highlight challenges in balancing security concerns with continued access to education.
Governors of the southwest states have converged on Ibadan, the Oyo state capital, in a closed-door meeting. The meeting is attended by Chairman of the Forum and Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, his counterparts from Ondo, Lucky Ayedatiwa, Ogun, Dapo Abiodun, Ekiti, Biodun Oyebanji, and the host governor, Seyi Makinde. The deputy governor of Osun, Kola Adewusi, who is representing Governor Ademola Adeleke. Inside sources says the emergency meeting is aimed at addressing the current security situation in the country. The meeting, which is a follow-up to a similar one held in Lagos on Thursday, November 13th, also discusses other pressing issues affecting the region, such as agriculture, regional cooperation and integration, food security, and economic growth. Away from security, PAYSTACK has dismissed its co-founder and chief technology officer, EZRA OLUBI, over allegations of sexual misconduct and resurfaced disturbing posts shared widely on social media. The company initially suspended OLUBI and announced an investigation, but the tech executive revealed in a blog post that he was informed of his termination on November 22nd, 2025, before the inquiry was concluded. He alleged that the decision was made without granting him a hearing, describing the process as a breach of PAYSTACK's internal procedures. OLUBI insisted that the viral posts do not reflect his character and stated that he fully complied with the board's directive during the probe. He added that his legal team is reviewing the circumstances surrounding his dismissal and will determine the next step. Let's go on a break. When we return, we have more stories on business, sports, and entertainment. Please stay with us. Welcome back. And to some business stories, the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation has uncovered 28 major financial infractions involving the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. The infractions, which amount to about 61.1 billion naira, is said to be in questionable payments and undocumented expenditures. The red flags contained in the Auditor General 2022 report on non-compliance detail weak internal controls, irregular procurement, tax breaches, and unsupported settlements across NNPCL and its subsidiaries. Among the concerns raised is the undocumented spending of 14.3 million euros by NNPCL's London office in 2021. Power generation companies, GENCOS, have rejected the federal government's proposal asking them to forfeit half of the 5 trillion naira owed for electricity supplied to the national grid. The offer sent to the GENCOS proposed paying about 2.4 trillion naira as final settlement through a bond finance special purpose vehicle that would take over the liabilities from the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC. Sources within the GENCOS said the proposal contradicts President Bola Tinubu's earlier commitment to clear the outstanding debts in full and was unanimously rejected during meetings with senior government officials. The companies advised two alternative repayment methods: immediate payment of 2.4 trillion naira with the balance scheduled for later, or a slight reduction applied only to interest charges while outstanding energy and capacity payments remains intact. And on the foreign scene, a suicide bombing at the Federal Constabulary headquarters in Penshawar of Pakistan on Monday has left 3 paramilitary personnel dead and 4 others injured. According to Penshawar police, Mian Saeed, the attack occurred at about 8 in the morning on Sadar Road when one assailant detonated explosives at the main gate, while 2 other attackers were swiftly shot dead by security forces. Scenes from the blast site showed body parts of a suspected bomber scattered near the gate as emergency responders and bomb disposal teams moved in. The police chief said no group has yet claimed responsibility for the attack, which took place in a region that has faced renewed militant activity since the Taliban's return to power in Afghanistan in 2021. And in sports, there are fresh concerns that the Super Falcons may miss another chance to regroup as the final women's international window of 2025 opens today. This comes as the Nigeria Football Federation continues scrambling to secure friendly matches for the team. Other African sides like Ghana, Zambia, and South Africa have already lined up fixtures for the break. The NFF confirmed that a previously arranged friendly match was cancelled after the opposing team suddenly pulled out, reportedly because their coach preferred what he called a lesser opponent, with the window running from November 24th to December 2nd, and the Super Falcons yet to confirm any game. NFF President Ibrahim Gusau simply said, "We are checking," when asked about the team's plan. And finally on sports, former Manchester United star Wayne Rooney is pointing fingers at Mohamed Salah for Liverpool's recent dip in form. Speaking on his podcast, Rooney reacted to the 3-0 home loss, noting that despite Salah's 5 goals this season, the forward has delivered a goal contribution in several matches. Rooney suggested that manager Onslaught may need to make bold call, even if it means leaving Egyptian out of the starting lineup. He argued that Salah's lack of defensive effort sends the wrong message to players waiting on the bench, adding that winger's legendary status at the club shouldn't exempt him from his accountability. The legendary reggae icon, whose music helped propel Jamaica's sound onto the global stage, Jimmy Cliff, has died at age 81. His wife, Latifah Chambers, announced his passing on Monday, revealing that the singer succumbed to complications of seizure followed by pneumonia. She expressed gratitude to his families, colleagues, and fans worldwide, noting that their unwavering support was his greatest strength throughout his career. Over a remarkable 4 decades, Cliff crafted an influential catalogue that blended reggae with folk and rock. His socially conscious lyrics tackled themes of politics, poverty, injustice, and war, earning him acclaim of one of reggae's most pivotal figures after Bob Marley. Tributes have been pouring in across the world, including from Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who hailed Cliff as a true cultural giant. And And that's all we have for you at this hour. Thank you for staying with us on African News 24 TV. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms displayed on your screen and visit our website at africannews24.ng to stay informed and ahead. I am Praise at Delike. Bye for now.